The apartment was supposed to be an investment, a small one-bedroom in a trendy part of town, close to the new light rail, perfect for renting to young professionals. I bought it 3 years ago with money IED inherited from my grandmother, every penny she saved from 40 years of teaching elementary school. My husband, Derek, thought it was a mistake, too much work, he said. Too many headaches, let someone else deal with tenants. But I wanted something of my own, something that would grow in value. Something that would be mine no matter what happened in our marriage. I ignored his advice and bought it anyway. Best decision I ever made. Worst decision I ever made. Both somehow. My sister Paige was between apartments when the lease on her place fell through. Could she stay in my investment property for a few months just until she found something permanent? Of course, I said. Family helps family. She'd pay reduced rent, cover utilities, keep the place clean. It was perfect, a win for her, a win for me, a way to keep the apartment occupied without the hassle of strangers. I drew up a lease, standard form, both our names on it. Hers as tenant, mine as owner. It was just paperwork, I thought. Just a formality. I didn't think about it again until Derek started working late. It was gradual at first. An hour here, an hour there. Then 2 hours. Then whole evenings. Big project at work, he'd say, kissing my forehead, grabbing his laptop. The partners are breathing down my neck. I believed him. Why wouldn't I? He'd never given me reason to doubt. We'd been married for 7 years, together for 10. We had a house, a dog, a retirement plan. We were stable, solid, boring, even. The first red flag was his cologne. He started wearing a new scent, something expensive, woody, unfamiliar. When I asked about it, he said a client had given him a gift basket. The second was his gym membership. He'd always been casual about exercise, but suddenly he was going every night after work, coming home exhausted but strangely energized. The third was his phone. He kept it face down now, screen hidden, even when we were sitting together on the couch. I told myself I was being paranoid. I told myself marriage was about trust. I told myself a lot of things. The breaking point was a receipt. I was doing laundry, his work shirts, the ones he wore to the office, and something crinkled in the pocket. A receipt from a restaurant I didn't recognize, Italian place, across town. Dated 3 weeks ago, 8:47 p.m. dinner for two glasses of wine, 2 entrees, 2 desserts. I Googled the restaurant. It was 5 blocks from my apartment, the one Paige was renting. I didn't confront him. I didn't call her. I sat on the bedroom floor, surrounded by his clean laundry, and I let the pieces fall into place. The late meetings, the new cologne. The gym that never seemed to change his body. The phone face down, the apartment across town, my apartment, my sister, my husband. I spent the next week gathering evidence. I bought a small GPS tracker, the kind you hide in a car. I slipped it under his bumper while he was in the shower. For 3 nights, I watched the dot on my phone travel from our house to the apartment building. For 3 nights, it stayed there for hours. For 3 nights, I sat in my kitchen, drinking wine, staring at the wall, feeling my heart turn to stone. On the 4th night, I drove there myself. I parked across the street, far enough to be hidden, close enough to see. His car was in the lot. Her lights were on. I watched their silhouettes move behind the blinds together, close, intimate. I watched them for an hour. Then I drove home and started planning. The lease was in my name. That was the key. The apartment was mine. Every square inch of it. I owned it. They were just living there, playing house, while I paid the mortgage and the taxes and the insurance. They thought they were safe. They thought they were clever. They forgot that I was the one with the deed. I waited 3 more weeks. 3 weeks of smiling, of cooking dinner, of being the perfect wife. 3 weeks of watching him leave for his late meetings and knowing exactly where he was going. 3 weeks of texting my sister, pretending everything was normal, asking about her job, her dating life, her plans for the weekend. She lied to my face over and over, and I let her. I let her because every lie was evidence. Every lie was fuel. The night of my revenge, I told Derek I had a headache. I was going to bed early. He kissed my forehead, said he'd be quiet when he came home. Don't wait up, he said. I never did. I waited until his car pulled out of the driveway. Then I got up, dressed in black, and drove to the apartment. I let myself in with my key, the key I'd never taken off my ring, the key they'd forgotten I had. The apartment was dark, empty. They weren't there yet. I had time. I went to the bedroom first. Their bedroom now, but it still had my furniture, my curtains, my grandmother's quilt on the bed, the quilt she'd made for my wedding, the one I'd stored here when we ran out of space at the house. Paige had found it. Of course she had. She was sleeping under it every night. Wrapped in our grandmother's love while she fucked my husband. I took the quilt. I folded it carefully, put it in a bag. It was mine. It was coming home with me. Next, the bathroom, her toiletries, his razor, their towels. I took photos of everything, the two toothbrushes in the same cup, the shared shampoo, the intimate mess of two people building a life together, evidence, more evidence. The living room was the worst, photos of them on the bookshelf. Happy, smiling, in love, photos I'd never seen, from trips I didn't know about. A whole secret life, documented and displayed right there in my apartment. I took photos of those two, every single one. Then I sat on the couch and waited. They came in at 10:47, laughing, drunk, arms around each other. They didn't see me at first, didn't notice the dark figure in the corner. Then Paige flicked on the light and screamed, "Hello, sis." I didn't stand. I just looked at them, my husband and my sister, frozen in the doorway like deer in headlights. "Nice place you have here. I've been meaning to check on it." Derek's face went white. Paige started crying immediately, ugly, desperate sobs. "It's not what it looks like," she said. "The oldest line in the book. It's exactly what it looks like," I said. "And I have photos of the apartment, of your stuff, of the two of you coming home together. Plus 3 weeks of GPS data showing his car here every night, plus the receipt from the restaurant, the one in his pocket, plus about 100 other things I've collected." Derek found his voice, shaky and pathetic. "We can explain. It just happened. We didn't mean to hurt you." "You didn't mean to hurt me," I laughed. "You've been sleeping together for months in my apartment under my grandmother's quilt. You didn't mean to hurt me?" Paige was still crying, still begging. "Please don't tell anyone. Please, I'll do anything, anything." I stood up, walked toward them. They backed away, afraid of me, their own victim. "Here's what's going to happen. You're going to pack your things tonight, all of them. You're going to be out of this apartment by morning. Derek, you're going to go home, pack a bag, and leave. I'll have divorce papers served to your office by noon." But Derek started. "No buts, you're done. Both of you, and here's the kicker." I pulled the lease out of my bag. "This apartment is in my name, which means you've been trespassing. You've been using my property without my permission. I could press charges. I could have you both arrested." Paige's face crumpled. "You wouldn't." "Try me." They packed. I watched. It took them 3 hours, crying and fighting the whole time. Derek tried to apologize again. I told him to save it for the judge. Paige tried to hug me. I stepped back like she was contagious. When they were gone, I walked through the empty apartment one last time. My grandmother's quilt was safe in my car. The photos were on my phone. The evidence was secure. I locked the door, drove home, and slept better than I had in months. The divorce was finalized 6 months later. I got the house, the retirement accounts, the dog, and a restraining order that kept him 300 feet away at all times. The apartment sold for twice what I'd paid. The market had boomed, and my mistake turned out to be the best investment I ever made. Paige was disowned by our family. Our parents couldn't look at her after seeing the photos. She moved to another state, changed her name, tried to disappear. It didn't work. The internet is forever, and her face was all over it. Derek married her 6 months after the divorce. I know because someone sent me the wedding announcement. Small ceremony, no family present. Just a justice of the peace and 2 witnesses they probably found on Craigslist. I laughed when I saw it. Laughed and laughed until I cried. They deserve each other. 2 people who built their love on lies, on betrayal, on the wreckage of someone else's trust. They'll never be happy. People like that don't know how. I kept the quilt. It's on my bed now, in my house, in the life I rebuilt from the ashes. Sometimes I run my fingers over the stitching. Remember my grandmother's hands. Remember that. Some things are made to last. Some things survive. The apartment building sold last year. I used the money to buy a small beach house, a place I'd always dreamed of. I go there on weekends, alone, with a book and a bottle of wine. I think about them sometimes, wonder where they are, how they're doing, if they're still together. I hope they are. I hope they're miserable. No, that's not true. I hope they're forgettable. I hope they fade into the background of my life, becoming smaller and smaller until one day I realize I haven't thought about them in months. That's the real revenge, isn't it? Not anger, not hatred, just moving on, living well, building something they can never touch. The lease was in my name. That was the thing they forgot. They thought they were safe because they were clever. They forgot that clever isn't the same as smart. They forgot that I was the one with the deed, the key, the proof. They forgot that I was the one who owned the place. I still have that key. It's on my key ring, right next to my house key and my car key, a reminder, not of betrayal, of ownership, of the fact that some things once there. Yours, stay yours forever. No matter who tries to take them. They tried to take my husband, my sister, my trust. They failed. I took back my apartment, my quilt, my peace, and they got each other. Somehow, I think I came out ahead.